Say if we go on a vacation and you bring your phone with you and you start just like checking emails every once in a while, and then like just kind of thinking, or maybe you read some bring some like business books with you. It's like, no, you got to shut off completely if you're going to do it right. And what happens is that week or 2 weeks or 2 days or whatever time you take, then you start to begin to miss it. What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Upgrade My Rituals podcast. My name is Kevin McKellar, your host of the show, and this, of course, is the place to be for high performers, solopreneurs, people who run their own business, or somebody who's just looking for a little bit more productivity and efficiency in their life, trying to find a plan to execute this perfect ideal day. The show today, what we're going to talk about in the topic, is going to be about taking a rest or taking a break, time off, vacation, whatever you want to call it. When it becomes to productivity and trying to really leverage your time and every hour in the day and all these things, there is a point where we ultimately find ourselves really kind of stuck. And sometimes the answer to get over that plateau is simply taking a break. Now, if you notice, the last couple of weeks, you didn't hear from me much at all because we had a baby. Woo! And I'm not going to get too much into the details of that because the next couple of weeks I'll be doing a specific Baby Chronicles episode of how to do a ritual design with a newborn. Fun stuff. But with that being said, we had an intense, obviously, week prior to my wife delivering, and then it's been exactly 2 weeks, and at this recording, actually at this launch of this episode, it'll be exactly 3 weeks that Quinn is 3 weeks old. So what happened? Well, I took some time off because obviously this is an event in my life that I've never been through. It is a very time-consuming event, and I know that I wouldn't be able to execute my schedule as it always was, right? This is definitely going to be a different situation. So with this being said, I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about the ins and outs of taking a break and taking a rest, specifically when it comes to events that you either have never been through before or in your life, or there's no event at all, right? You're just taking a break. First, let's chat about why you may need a break. Well, you may get to the point where you're simply not producing, right? You're kind of going through the motions, but just like you're punching the clock, but nothing's getting really done, right? You're at a loss for creativity. You're at or even worse, you're really just unmotivated. You find yourself that you don't want to do the thing that you love to do. Before this world, I was a musician, and there was many times where I just didn't feel like practicing, right? What I've done over the years, though, is I've crafted my practice routines where it really it made it where I very rarely felt like that because I made them so much fun. I made them different. I made them kind of unexpected, and it was easy to enjoy them, right? So for you guys, like I said, for whatever it may be doing, you may be doing in your life, you may just be just find yourself at a really, really difficult place and not being able to kind of move forward. So a break may be kind of in a due for you, right? Now, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. One, you can, again, take a break where there's no event that's happening. It's not like, your wedding or your child being born or a family member died or whatever it is. It may be just that I need a week. I need a week not to do anything on my side hustle. I need a week off my day job. I need a week away from my kids or whatever it may be, right? With that being said, there are some stipulations there that I would suggest. When you take your time off, I would specifically take a start date and an end date, right? Have that end date in mind of when you're going to be coming back into the hot seat, jumping in, and doing the thing that, you whatever. Now, the reason why we want to have those dates in play is because you want to have a clear beginning and end to this time away, right? Because a lot of times some things feed into each other, right? So say if we go on a vacation and you bring your phone with you and you start just like checking emails every once in a while, and then like just kind of thinking, or maybe you read some bring some like business books with you. It's like, no, you got to shut off completely if you're going to do it right. And what happens is that week or 2 weeks or 2 days or whatever time you take, then you start to begin to miss it. Now, you may realize that, okay, you've taken too little time or you've taken too much time, right? If you've taken too much time, you're itching to get back. You can't wait to get started on your project or whatever it is, your business. But if you've taken too little time, if you're taking a 3-day long vacation, a weekend getaway or whatever, and you come back and you're still kind of, right? Then you need more time. But that's ultimately just going to be something you're feeling out. Now, what will happen is that'll be, like I said, that'll be clear when it comes to your start and end date when there's no event surrounding it. Now, with me, we had our baby, right? And it was our first child, and it's something that I've never been through. So what I specifically did was I set obviously a beginning date, right? When, a date I was going to be, done with this. It was, it was the day that we, went into the hospital, right? But the difference is I did not set a return date because I did not know. It was so unclear about what was going to happen. And boy, is it still unclear. And I think it's going to continue to be unclear, but I am back, right? I've had it. 2 weeks was enough time for me to figure things out to a point where at least I can get going back into content production. But that's the difference, right? And like, for instance, same thing when my mom passed last year. It wasn't really a conscious thought of taking off. Everything just came to a grinding halt. And for many, many months, I didn't do anything, right? There was no plan of saying, well, in, August, I'm going to get back and, you just you're done. Two very different things, but again, with an event that you are uncertain of that needs that time away, you need to not schedule a date that you come back to your whatever it may be, your job, your side hustle, your routines, whatever it is. Now, let's use an example of, a lot of times people get scared of what that break will mean, right? What if I take too long off? Will my audience be gone? Or will I lose my, as a musician, will I lose my chops? Well, let's look at an example for, like, say, weightlifting, right? Another hobby of mine is I work out, I strength train 6 days a week. And I've been doing that throughout my life, kind of on and off. And the last year has been the most consistent and the most amazing time in the gym, and partially because of my meanings behind what working out meant to me, right? All my life, working out was try to get jacked and impress girls, right? Those days are done. Granted, I do like looking better. I'm not going to lie. Like, having a healthy ego is okay. I do, like looking better, sure. But that's, there's a whole list of things of why I work out. I want to, live as long as I can. I want to feel good. I want to protect my family if I ever need to. I want to, not get hurt bending over, picking up a pencil, I want to be in shape. So those are all these different things that there are reasons why that made this consistent. But when we had the baby, obviously I took off Thursday and Friday that we were in the hospital. Of course, you're not going to work out. And then, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, I'm usually off anyway. And then the week when we came home a couple days after. So we were home actually Saturday and Sunday. And then began the uncertainty, right? And the biggest uncertainty was sleep. Oh boy. I'm still a little uncertain, but we're getting there and I'm figuring it out. But I wanted to see if I can start working out again. And that week, I knew that it was going to be so uncertain. So I didn't really set a date to say, okay, I'm back working out in the gym 6 days a week. I just figured out what I can do, right? And that week I only did 3 days, which They were terrible workouts because I was exhausted, running on 3 or 4 hours of sleep, which, long term, you can't do that. And it was, I did it, right? This last week, actually got 5 days in. So really close. Because I had so much more of a groove. We're getting a little bit more sleep. And now this week, right, I'm back, right? I'm back in, with a much adjusted ritual design. I'm back in the gym. I'm back with content production, and we're working around, our new life with a newborn, right? So that was healthy, because if I said to myself, well, I'm going to take these 2 days off, I'm going to go right back into the gym, I was going to fail. I knew I was going to fail. So the trick was I didn't know when that I'd be back in a more consistent manner. So I didn't put a start and end date. Obviously, the start date was the hospital, but I didn't put a date in telling myself when I was going to come back into the gym consistently. So I think those are the two big things that you have to work out in your head. Now, speaking of I got kind of pulled off on a tangent there, but speaking of working out, we have this fear, like I just mentioned before. Oh, will I lose all the muscle I gained? Will I lose my audience that I worked on for so long? Will I lose my chops? Will I not be able to play my instrument anymore if I take off a whole, week or two? 99% of that is so in our heads, it's not even funny. It takes a solid 2 weeks, I think. Don't quote me on this, but I think around a solid 2 weeks before you really start to lose any actual muscle mass when it comes to working out. For me, when I was in Belgium and I was studying as a for my master's in performance, I was practicing 7 hours a day. And when my mom came to visit, when my girlfriend at the time, now wife, came to visit, I took off the whole week. I'm not going to practice. Actually I did. I think I played one day when my mom was there, but I took off the whole week. It took me literally like a day to kind of jump back into the groove of being in musical shape, if you will. So the fear of loss when it comes to taking a break is 99% in our head. And it's just this fear we have, right? So at the same time, there is this conversation also, is that when you are taking the break, you have to take the break both physically and mentally. As I referred to before, if you're on vacation, don't bring business books, right? You may want to. I remember we were on our honeymoon and I brought The One Thing. And, it's kind of a businessy book, but it's like, don't do that, right? Because you have to miss your love. Yeah, you have to miss what it is that you love. So when you come back to it, you're actually revitalized. You're actually, you're mentally and physically energized to do what it is that you took the break from. So I think taking a break and a rest from whatever it is that you need is so, so important. And it is so not talked about in our hustle porn culture, right? In our, bleed out of your eyes culture, which I totally get. Hard work is something that you have to do if you are trying to move the needle. You have to put in the time, you have to put in the hours, but you also have to be cognizant of what you need. And if it's a break, then you need to take a break. Now, the next question too remains is, how often do you need breaks, right? Maybe you're somebody that needs a break every single quarter, right? And maybe you need someone a break every month, right? Maybe every single month you need to take, a 5-day long weekend, right? Or whatever, right? You don't have to necessarily go somewhere, but, and there's some people that are listening to this is like, I need to travel every other week. I need to be doing something all the time. It's really totally up to you. For me, I have to force myself to do more traveling. Now with a newborn, it's going to be a little while, but I always had to force myself to do more traveling because I always I never needed too long or too intense of a break to get the rest I needed, right? If I take off Sunday, and Sunday, and I deliberately try not to do anything on Upgrade, on anything for, anything at all, and just watch movies all day, I am like itching to go on Monday. And it's just kind of how I'm wired, right? So that's for me. But when I go, traveling and I go see a different country or see, a different, if I go to even like, I remember it was a couple of years ago, I went to my first NASCAR race, right? With my father-in-law and my brother-in-law and all that. And that was cool. Definitely an experience. And I enjoyed the art of not, being just not doing my day to day, even though I didn't love NASCAR. I didn't go because I can't wait to go to NASCAR. I just went to go check it out and just have a break. But while I was there, I was like, oh man, I need this. Like I forget that I need to just get away and see something different, have different interactions with people. And I think that's really all I wanted to kind of talk about today. But the fact that, I took 2 weeks off, of course, there was a part of me that said, I wonder if any of my listeners are like, where is he? Right? I didn't let you guys know because it came so fast that I did not prioritize making an episode about telling you that I'd be gone for 2 weeks. I just left. But of course, I thought of those things. And I know they were just kind of thoughts and they weren't legitimate fears, because if you like listening to this show and I know you'll be here, and with that being said, I'm so grateful that you are here. So that is it for today. I hope if you need a break, you take it. And I hope you think through specifically how and why you're going to take it and the details around that rest and that break. Maybe you, like I said, need a long weekend at the vineyards, or maybe you need to go to a 2-week silent meditation retreat. I don't know, whatever it is, but you got to figure that out, and you've got to, you got to internalize that. And I suggest you do. So thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you liked it, please let me know. Leave a comment below and subscribe. If you really liked it, I'd love you to actually leave a review of the podcast. That'll help me and it'll help other people find the show. And with that being said, thank you once again, and I will see you next week on the Upgrade My Rituals podcast.